All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And today we are putting Andrew Yang to the beer test, the proverbial relatability test, as personified by sitting with another gentleman and having a beer.
Or lady.
Or lady. Yes, that's true. So there's been some really interesting news articles from local Iowa affiliates that have come out, and even a little bit of a TV segment in which undecided voters were checking, or actually I should say disclosing, who they would, quote, want to have a beer with. So super interesting data. And I got to say, I'm on a little bit of my own proverbial want to have a beer with me quest. This is my third Saturday wearing my math hat. My unofficial math hat from the Yang Australians, or the Aussie Yang Gang, or whoever made it, I can't remember. And I have yet to make a comment. Cody gets comments every time he goes out in his math hat, and I haven't got one. I'm not taking this off until somebody says, "Hey, cool hat, bro." Because I want that. I want to have that Cody the Oracle experience. So Cody, tell us what's going on with all these people who are more personable than me.
Okay. Well, getting into this, you kind of brought it, you teased it a little bit. So I'm going to show one little thing first. This is something that gets discussed. I can find articles for years. I don't know why I'm telling you guys. A lot of you guys know this. It's kind of a question asked a lot of the time, which is, which candidate would you like to have a beer with? Here's an article from The Hill going back to July of this year. And they mention how a lot of the Democrats, famously Elizabeth Warren, during the middle of one of her Facebook live streams, I'm going to get a beer, and walked over and grabbed a beer. And that goes down. A couple things I wanted to highlight here is what this actually, like, this notion of, like, I think beer being used like a social thing for Americans comes to the point where Joe Biden doesn't even drink, and he made a point to buy a round of beers during a stop at New York City's Stonewall Inn for Pride Month, and Kristen Gillibrand played beer pong at Liquid Therapy in New Hampshire. She actually posted that on her thing. She is also no longer in the race. Anyway, I just wanted to highlight this for just a little bit of background, but like I said, I'm sure a lot of you guys know it is something that's really popular with the kind of, it's a question that gets asked a lot. Which candidate would you like to have a beer with? Stuff like that, and it keeps going through here. Now, they're doing something in Iowa right now. Looks like Local 13 in Iowa. They're calling it the Deciders. They brought in a bunch of undecided voters, just showing this for a little bit of background. And they've been doing videos and hitting them up throughout the process, it looks like, asking them questions about if their opinions have changed on any of the candidates. So, they recently sat down and asked the undecideds who would they want to have a beer with, right? So a group of undecided Democratic Iowa caucus goers, again, caucus goers. These aren't just random people who probably won't be voting. These people that are, following this cycle, evaluate their 15 choices. Members have found they share a curiosity. What would it be like to sit down for a beer with New York entrepreneur Andrew Yang? Now, to be clear, the undecideds are still undecided. No one's 100% committed to supporting Yang, a first-time candidate in the upcoming caucus, but many in the group of Iowans, which recruited by Esmond Research in West Des Moines, said that Yang has captured their recent attention more than other candidates. Something very sincere about the way he levels with you when he's talking to you, said Ann Rezark, I believe, of Ames, who retired from the Department of Human Services and considers herself a very liberal person. And they go through. Now, without further ado, I wanted to actually just play the video, because I think it is really cool seeing their actual reactions. So here we go. Here's the actual video when they asked these individuals, who is your proverbial beer candidate, I guess. So give me 1 second. I'll cue this up for you.
Interesting.
And you guys can hear this right here.
Of all the candidates, Yang, Booker, Steyer.
I like Steyer. Shout out Steyer.
Yang, Bernie.
This part was funny.
That's fine. You don't have to go through the video. That's
Amy Klobuchar, just because I want to see how she would
Have a beer.
behave in that context.
Yang, Warren, Booker.
Yang, Warren, and Sanders. I wouldn't need to meet Elizabeth. I used to really, really like her. It's more of when she tried to become relatable that I didn't.
Oh, that's an indictment. A stinging indictment.
Warren, Klobuchar.
I do agree with Yang. Bernie and Warren.
Booker is one, Yang is another, and I really would like to know a little more about Klobuchar.
A lot of beers with the Yang at this table,
Yeah.
right?
He's just relatable, and you see him and you like him.
Yang, Bernie, Booker, and then another one with Yang.
Yang and
I think it was the laugh.
So as we heard, Yang
I love to hear that one woman. She's like, I like to go Yang, Bernie, Booker, and then another one with Yang. So he definitely was made an impression on these people, which is, I think, what I notice more than anything with Andrew Yang. And they get into the other part of it, which is really interesting. Before that, they asked him in general, the candidates you want to speak with, but you recognize that there's people that You know what? They say it better than I could right here. Just listen to the way this is. Again, they're asked this shortly before the beer question, but there's something about Andrew Yang that's really resonating with people, which is more what I want to highlight with this video. There's something about him greater than just his policies, which, by the way, are resonating, but something about him personally is just reaching out to people. And I want to play this. Listen to what these undecided voters had to say about Andrew Yang just in general as a candidate as well.
Very sincere about the way he levels with you when he's talking to you. I like him a lot live.
He's brilliant. The man is brilliant.
brilliant.
And he's not just brilliant like, oh, he's a really smart guy. He's brilliant like his mind works.
Innovative.
His mind works
Innovative.
like a
Like any functional
synaptical
human being.
relay. Like it's just he sees these things and he connects them.
And it sure sounded like Yang was that new addition to Hannah's shortlist.
Authenticity, charisma, and the man is a funny guy.
He's hilarious. isn't he?
He's hilarious.
There's an Asian man running for president who
And
wants
all
to
this
give
other guy
everyone.
do, but I wanted the reason I wanted to play that for you guys is because it's one thing to say that a bunch of people in Iowa said that they wanted to have a beer with Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
Because I want to have a beer with Andrew Yang. I'm sure a lot of people do, right?
Yeah.
But the reason behind why they're saying they want to have a beer with, like, what it is about Andrew Yang, it really stood out to me. I love that one guy. Shout out, I think his name's Pasha. It was really interesting, where he was just basically saying that, like, he just comes across as like, and I think the words that they were, what they were describing there was that he comes across as like a legit thinker running for office. We don't have a lot of thinkers run for office. Like,
There's no more philosopher priests.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think of
philosopher
people,
kings.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Think
know?
about people running. Like, would you think of like, look at the front rows? Think of Joe Biden as like a great thinker? Like, but like, think about it. It should be. It should be.
I
During
just envision the only usefulness in the word thinking that Joe Biden has is what if we recarved the statue of the thinker in the image of Joe Biden? He kind of looks like the thinker.
What I mean though
Doesn't
is
act like him, but looks like him.
Going back to the debates, right? Like when you think about it, I was trying to bring this up before. It's like it should be awesome that we're supposed to be influential leaders and really smart people and people with ideas on stage debating those ideas. And I think we all kind of a little bit subconsciously know that isn't the case.
Yeah.
These people aren't charismatic leaders. They're not thinkers. And I think when we see someone like Andrew Yang who starts coming across like a charismatic leader, like an actual thinker, it's almost hard to put your finger on. Like you saw people in that room, they were trying to think like, what's the word for it? And I think like someone who like, I don't know, even thinker's a bad word, but you know what I mean? Like,
well, Ronald Reagan said this. He said, I never viewed myself as a politician. I always viewed myself as a citizen playing the role of a politician to get a job done for my fellow citizens. And I've always said I prefer voting. I have a very weird and eclectic voting habit. I vote for citizen politicians. You know, I voted for Jess Phoenix, what some would consider a very far left Democrat, you know what I'm saying, in a recent election. She had no hope of winning, but she was a citizen politician. And I like the idea of a scientist that's an actual scientist going to Washington, D.C., not a politician who manipulates pseudoscience in order to get the people to believe what he wants and will make him and his friends rich.
well, you just said something scary to politicians.
Yeah.
It's way easier for a scientist probably to get caught up to speed in DC than it's going to be for someone from DC to get caught up to speed on science, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I've been studying this 25 years. I think I know about my science. So like, yeah, but I've been in DC for 12. Like, yeah, you've never even studied the science.
Yeah,
like,
at
I
the
can't
sa-
learn your job, really?
At the same time, the same could be said about Donald Trump. And that's what people don't like is that.
Or Andrew Yang, right?
Yeah, his authenticity, Donald Trump's authenticity comes from the fact that he was a citizen politician. Some people say, oh, an outsider. And they're like, oh, he wasn't an outsider. He was giving donations to Democrats and all this other stupid stuff. But at the end of the day, he cut his teeth and made his fortune being a real estate mogul and an entertainment industry mogul, not a politician. Jess Phoenix made her, she carved out in stone her spot in life by being a volcanologist. Andrew Yang carved out his stone in life by being a tech entrepreneur and the guy that founded Venture for America.
Remember, he's never had a tech company. He had a test prep company, and then he made a venture capital nonprofit. That's all he's ever done.
Yeah, colloquially, I've heard him called a tech entrepreneur, and I think
he isn't a tech entrepreneur.
Yes, it might be a little bit of.
He's never started a tech-based business. I think it's the definition of tech entrepreneur.
Oh no, the testing the testing company was heavily technologically.
He had tutors.
It wasn't a landscaping company.
Nobody
here.
had tutors teach kids how to pass tests. I'm just saying, tech entrepreneur is kind of a crap way to describe Andrew Yang at the media.
Okay, what would you prefer, Cody? What would you prefer?
Businessman, which is what he's frequently referred two F's.
Okay, fine. Businessman. I apologize both to Cody the Oracle and the audience for having called Andrew Yang a tech entrepreneur,
it's not even-
and now
it's not even-
officially
it's
referred to him as a
It's just
businessman.
like inaccurate. It's just like referring to anyone who's not a tech entrepreneur as a tech entrepreneur. It's like, but they aren't one, so it's just kind of inaccurate thing to say. It's like, well,
okay.
He owned a business. They got computers in that business, right? It's like, yeah. I apologize. It's just I hear that used in the media. A lot of people say tech entrepreneur, but it's like he's never done a tech entrepreneurial thing.
Okay, yes, you're right. He's not a founding angel of Twitter, okay? We'll call him businessman. At the end of the day, the point still stands that he comes across as a citizen politician, and without them even knowing it, I think the average American really craves that, because that used to be more of what we had. There was a time when the majority of congressmen had served in the military. I mean, there was a time when most of our public servants had gone through this mutual citizen experience that created a social fabric that was very tightly knit. And the more that we've gone away from having citizen politicians, the more we've had a detached upper ruling class and a detached lower working class. And that causes a lot of the dissonance and a lot of the stress and a lot of the anger in the people. And the only way you can actually get that back is by having citizen politicians. So that's why I really think that he's doing extremely well in these beer tests, shall we call them, extremely well in the fundraising, and why he won't go away.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like he's not going away because he keeps getting all these little measurable quantifiers because he comes across so authentic. Look at the reasons why they said that they liked him.
yeah, I mean, like, I agree. People like him. When people like a candidate, they hang in the race. And I'm just going to show this. This was the actual tally of the results. And you'll notice basically every single person said Yang. No one else. Booker did show up on almost everyone else's list as far as these people who they want to have
Which
beer
is
with.
interesting.
I would like to have beer with Cory Booker. It's not that
Yeah,
weird
but
to me.
it's really cool. I was thinking that once you're not making the debate stage, America's forgotten about you, but they definitely haven't.
Well, this could have been recorded, around then, and still, like, he's part of the process,
Okay.
right? But I'm just saying, I'm not exactly sure about the timescale on how all that did win, because it is interesting he's no longer in the race. But well, no, he's still in the race. He just missed a debate. I guess that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Not everyone because here's the other thing, right? Not everyone watches the debates. Most people. I think one of the reasons why you'll notice after a day, if you go back and read who won the debate, everyone says the same people won and the same people lost, because like two people watched the debate, and then everyone just whatever they say, I guess. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that's part of it. But I did think this was really cool. So I don't have a ton more stuff to bring with you guys in this specific thing, but I just thought it was really cool to see how when they brought in a bunch of undecided voters. So again, I'll show you these backgrounds of these voters. Most are liberal or Democrat voters, but they're not like, I mean, this guy's current frontrunner was Warren when he was asked, but he still remained undecided. Like, a lot of these people were Democrat, liberal-leaning voters. This dude, but shout out to him, voted for George Bush, Barack Obama, and Jill Stein. So that's someone who votes for specific candidates and not just a general idea of a party or something like that. Larger point, though, is that these are the voters that actually kind of win you an election. Because if Andrew Yang wins the ticket, like, say you win a general, right? Because if Andrew Yang wins the ticket, the vote blue, it's one of the things I try to tell people, when you say you're a vote blue no matter who voted, they basically don't care about you in the primary because they already have your general vote.
They know they got you.
They don't pay people that are just like, I don't care who it is, I'm supporting the Democrats. They kind of ignore you in the primary process because they just, why we have your vote. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting seeing what the people that actually win the general are saying, people that actually are going to be the undecided, the swing voters, people that might say, you know what, if this is the kind of like, I don't want to say Bernie or bust types, but just people who are saying, I had a candidate I supported, they aren't the nominee, so I don't care anymore. Those people are leaning towards Andrew Yang more, which is really cool. It's, again, just one group of people in Iowa, but I don't know. This isn't the kind of stuff to just ignore and overlook. The candidate people actually genuinely like and want to be around, generally speaking, performs pretty well in these elections because people like him and want to be around him. I mean, there's something to that. Just being a likable person people wants to be around, and it really can help you win a presidential election.
Rock on.
Man, that's all I
agree.
You got anything else to add to this card? That's all I got to say about this.
No, I just think of that phrase. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I always go back to the etymology of the word charisma. It's called a gift from the gods. The Greeks recognized just the ability to come across well with people is this thing that cannot be taught, and therefore it must be a gift from the gods. So the word charisma, when it was developed, was literally just meant, oh, this man has the gift of the gods. And I think that's one of those intangibles that are things that talking heads in politics like us either really get and they call it right, or else they really don't get, and that's why they call it wrong. You know, I think in 2016, everybody called wrong the intangibles.
Well, hold on. By that same token, though, what you're saying, do you think that's one of the reasons why the media gets so threatened by Andrew Yang? Is because if they don't really...
Oh, absolutely.
If you don't like a guy and you don't want him to win, but they have undeniable charisma, it's threatening because you're like, people are going to like him. Like, it doesn't matter what I say, these people are going to like this person because he has just charisma. He has just... Because, I mean, dude, being around Andrew Yang, I know most of the time he's around other Andrew Yang supporters. People do just kind of gravitate towards the guy.
I'll tell you right now, there's nobody in the top three. There's nobody in the top three that does not feel threatened by Andrew Yang if he were to actually get a big break that got him a lot of press. There's not. Can you name me a single person polling higher than Andrew Yang that feels like they could out-debate him or they could out-charisma him in a one-on-one debate? Not Elizabeth Warren, not Bernie Sanders. What's Bernie Sanders going to do? Yeah, you're a millionaire. Oh, wait, you're not a millionaire.
I think Pete Buttigieg maybe thinks he can. I think they all think they can.
He's the only one that comes close.
No, I think they all think they can because that's why they're running for president. They think they can. But I do understand. I do agree with you a little bit. They also notice that, like, shoot, the Yang guy isn't going away yet, and people actually do like him. And that's going to be it's a problem when you're running for president and people like your opponent more than they like you, on a personal level. You could say I have all the policies, I have all the plans, but Yang isn't weak on policy either. So again, I mean, it's one simple metric, but I don't know, man. All I know is that Elizabeth Warren, she definitely pays attention to Americans and their connection with beer. So if people want to have a beer with Yang instead of her, I think she knows what that means.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. Make sure that you follow us on our Twitter, on our Twitter feed. No, you follow us. Oh, I'm already botching this. We're PSP Radio 1. Just make sure you follow us on Twitter, all right? If you haven't had a chance to like and subscribe this video, make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want to contribute to the channel, we're going to be able to have membership soon. You're going to be able to join. For now, go to the PayPal link that's on problemsolverpolitics.com or linked in this description. And make sure you give us a voicemail at 1-833-PSP-RADIO. We love answering your voicemails. It's one of our favorite things to do every week. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you guys in the next video.